Everybody has your graphing calculator.
No.
Okay, objective 50. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we did yesterday, and then we're going to talk about objective 50, which is graphing linear inequalities on the coordinate plane. Yesterday we saw something like this, where you were graphing linear inequalities in the coordinate plane, but they didn't have both letters. They had either an x or a y, and that was it. And that made lines either be like this, or it made lines like this. On this one, where I have x is less than or equal to 2, what type of line is it, vertical or horizontal? If it just has an x?
Vertical.
It's vertical. So it's a vertical line at 2, and then this also means it's solid and vertical. So we have a solid vertical line at 2. And then if I am less than, which way did I shade?
Left.
Left. And then likewise, if I have y, and I'm supposed to graph that on the coordinate plane, that's going to be a flat line, and this is flat and dotted. And if I am greater than, where do I shade?
Right.
I can't shade right on a up down.
Up.
Yeah, so I shade up. Now those were kind of special cases because I only had an x or I only had a y. If you have both x and y, you're going to have some sort of slant or some sort of slope. So it will look something like this. It won't be perfectly up and down, or it could be negative and be like this. And your shade is going to be more like this. Your greater than shades are going to be above, and your less than shades will be up below. So if my line ends up being like this, and I said greater than, I would shade above, and less than I'll shade below. You've done this before in Algebra 1, but what we want to do with this objective and our graphing calculator is learn how we can put the lines in and shade them with your graphing calculator. So this first one is y is less than or equal to 4x plus 4. This is in mx plus b form. So go straight to your graphing calculator and let's just put it in as if it was y equals mx plus b. So go to your graphing calculator and just put it in as y equals 4x plus 4. Now don't graph it yet.
Where's x?
X is that button right there. Okay, you got y equals 4x plus 4. Now the thing is, we're going to have to shade this because it's an inequality, not an equal sign. If it's a less than, 4x plus 4 is going to look something like this. It's a positive slope, 4x plus 4. If it is less than, do you think I'm going to shade above or below? I'm going to shade below. So on less thans, I want to shade below. Now on your graphing calculator, shade below, you come over here with your arrow. Come over here with your arrow. And there's two different types of triangles. There's a triangle for shade above, and there's a triangle for shade below. You want shade below, so hit enter 3 times. This is what shade below means. It's a lower triangle. The upper triangle is, that's like the triangle. If it's a floating triangle like that, that means shade above. So that triangle shade above, that triangle shade below.
And how do you do that? You go to the equal sign, hit enter
No,
3 times?
No, come all the way past the equal sign over to here.
Okay.
And then you're going to hit enter 3 times and you'll have the shade below triangle.
Okay.
And then when you graph it, it will graph the line and it will shade below for you.
Oh, cool.
Oh my god.
So this is it. So what answer choice looks most like this? D.
Oh my gosh, that's super cool.
One other thing of note is that the solid or dotted lines. Now you're not going to be able to do the solid dotted lines on your calculator with the shade, but if it has the equal to, what do you expect the line to be? Solid. Now you notice your answer choices, they're all solid. But just keep that in mind. If you do get to one where like 2 look exactly the same, make sure that you choose the solid one. I bet one is solid and one is dotted. All right, so the note you want to make for yourself is what triangle to use. To shade below, use the triangle that looks like that. So to shade below, use the lower triangle. To shade above, use the upper triangle. So we're going to put y equals mx plus b in, and then we're going to shade below or shade above. And then sketch that triangle. Okay, example number 1 was nice because example number 1 was already in mx plus b. You can expect that to happen 1 out of 5 times. More often than not, you're going to get one like this that is not in y equals mx plus b. So what do we need to do to this one to get it into mx plus b? Subtract the x. And you get negative 7y is less than, and don't put those together, put them next to each other.
And then you divide the negative 7.
Yeah. And then that's where I want to slow down because this is important. When you're here, you're getting ready to divide this negative 7. When you divide by negative 7, what happens to this?
Sign flips.
It flips. This was only going to flip if you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative. Adding and subtracting won't flip it. Multiplying and dividing won't flip it. But multiplying or dividing by a negative, here, will. So divide everything by negative 7. And this becomes y is greater than negative x over negative 7 becomes positive 1 over 7x plus 1. So put 1 over 7x plus 1 in your calculator, and then we'll worry about shading it. If you have one of the newer ones, you can hit alpha y equals, and that will allow you to hit enter and put your 1 over 7 in. 1 over 7x plus 1. Now what kind of sign is this?
Greater than.
Greater than. So you want to shade up. So you want to use the upper triangle, which is 2 enters. If you go all the way to the left.
What's the first one?
What do you mean?
Like before you get
Before
to the greater than.
Oh, what these other things do?
Where's that?
It just makes a thicker line.
Yeah, alpha.
Why?
In case you wanted one line to be thicker. That shades the whole thing. That's what you want. That shades. And then that shades below. But we don't want below on this one. We want to shade up. So you want to shade up. So shade up. So this will graph that line, and then this will shade up.
Guess what I did? Forgot to hit X.
That's what I did.
If you have if you ever do this and your line is perfectly flat, it's because you forgot the X.
Yeah, I forgot the X.
So yeah, that'll happen. And then if you're perfectly flat, go up, forgot the X, go back and put it in there.
Wait, how do you go back and put it in there?
I mean, go back to your Y equals and
Oh, okay.
then just get it in there.
Oh, cool.
One other thing. This happened last hour, so eyes up this way. I want to show you one accident that happens. Do you notice how equals became highlighted? Like if when you started, it wasn't highlighted. And as you start typing stuff in, it became highlighted. One person last hour, they had this all in, and they accidentally hit enter right there and unhighlighted the equal sign. If you unhighlight the equal sign, it goes invisible. So I go to graph it and it's invisible because I unhighlighted it. That's just an accident that she did when she was going to hit her triangle. So make sure you don't unhighlight your equal sign or you will make your graph invisible and then you won't know what you're looking at.
What is the point of it?
Yeah, what is the point of that?
Well, look at all these, you have all these Y's. So if you say you were doing like some real hard math,
Oh, yeah.
and then you were like, I got 5 things in, I don't want to delete them, but I want to make them invisible, then you can do it.
Okay.
Because you're like, I'm going to come back to that, so that's why it's there. Anyway, that's what we're looking at, and that looks most like which answer?
C.
C. All right, example 3, not too tough, except for, I do want to point out that is almost y equals mx plus b. You got
It's a negative y.
a negative y. You can't have negative y, so what do you need to do?
Switch all the signs.
Switch all the signs, but what do you think that's going to do about this?
It's gonna flip it.
Yeah, this is like negative 1y, and then when you're switching the signs, that's like dividing by negative 1, which will flip this. So you will actually have y is less than or equal to negative 6x plus 7. Less than means lower triangle. Less than means shade below. So negative 6x plus 7. And you want to shade below, which is always 3 enters, shade below.
So why do you hit enter twice?
Enter twice does the upper triangle, enter 3 times does the lower triangle.
Okay.
It's just there's a whole lot of options over there. So that looks most like answer B. After we do the last one, I'll show you what some of those others do, just so you know.
You forgot to make
Why was
negative
mine
7
wrong?
positive.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be positive.
It's supposed to be positive.
Yeah.
Here.
I was gonna say, why does yours look different than mine? Because I got B.
There we go.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. There.
It confused me first.
Negative 6x plus 7, and shade below. Yeah, I had it written there, I just didn't get it in there. Okay. And lastly, it's another one that's all sorts of scrambled. But before you even start to unscramble this into mx plus b, before you start, look at the y piece and look at the coefficient on it. What is it?
Negative.
-5. At some point, before I even start, at some
Five.
point, you need to know you're gonna divide by -5. So at some point, you need to know, you better, yeah, this is gonna flip. By the time you're all done, you're gonna go less than. But I would just think that before, like, oh, I'm gonna move that over, and then I'm gonna divide by -5, so I will be flipping. So minus the 2x. -5y is greater than -2x minus 10. And then when you divide by -5, you have to flip the sign.
Oops.
Y is less than 2/5 x plus 2. Okay, so put your 2/5 x plus 2 in. In order to get that, you're going to go alpha y equals. Let you put in 2/5 x plus 2. And this sign is less than. So what triangle do you want to use?
Lower.
The lower one. The one that takes 3 enders to get to. The lower triangle. Lower triangle. That'll shade it and graph it below. And that is it. And that looks most like which answer?
D.
D. Just a couple questions if you had about what those other things do, which, I mean, this is going to be a surprise to me. I don't use a lot of them either.
Whoa.
This one right here, I think, just makes a thicker line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't shade it. If you had a whole bunch of lines and you wanted one to be bolder, that's what you would use that for. Then there's, I don't know what that does.
Look at.
Oh, that's cute.
Whoa.
Hey,
Is
it's like
it-
a little snake. A little snake.
Yeah.
Snake.
Hey, you should try to make something on this.
So that's new. That's new to me. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, you can remove the whole graph bar.
Oh, you make it
You
invisible.
can make stuff out of it.
You make it
You
invisible.
should do it.
What does that do? Oh, yeah. Now it's just gone.
No,
It's following
Now it's
a
like
line.
a little fly.
Yeah.
No, it's a jellyfish.
Oh yeah, but where's the
It
snails?
looks like it.
Maybe they got amputated.
True.
He was trying to sing
And
somebody and they cut him off.
That just makes it a dotted line.
No.
Oh,
Looks the
boring.
same. Yeah, it really looked the exact same as this.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was it. So when you have y equals mx plus b, but it's instead of equals, it's less than, graph it in your calculator and shade below. If you have y is greater than mx plus b, graph it in your calculator and shade above. Now you know a little bit more about how this tool can make your life.
I wish we had these last time we did these.